Hi, my name is Ms. Lambright. I'm an award-winning English teacher and educational consultant, and I just want to thank you right now. Thank you for choosing to view my right now presentation. This presentation has been 16 years in the making. I decided to finally go ahead and share it on YouTube for two reasons. First, because I'm so tired of professors saying that English teachers are not doing their jobs at the high school level. Too many young people cannot write. The other reason, a little bit more sentimental. I mean, so many young people, guys, they earned A's, maybe a B, and then they get to college, turn in that first essay, and it's a C, a D, or womp womp in F. That is a dream crusher. I don't want that to happen to you. So I put these tips together. I know they work. How do I know? Because the young people come back and tell me. I've had young people who have tested out. Yes! Tested out a freshman comp. I've had young people who earned like A's in English and in their other classes from using my tips. Wow! I've had young people who have received comments, good feedback from their professors, even from their employers. I've had young people who are working in the workforce now in their 30s, and they even say they're using my tips, they're standing out, they're getting promotions, so I know they work. I want you to be in honors college. It happens. I want you to get picked by your professor to assist with grading papers. I've had young people who get picked just from using my tips. So they work. Watch the video, complete some of the activities, meet me at the end, and we'll move forward from there. Because, sweetie, for real, anybody can go to college, but only the best of the best graduate. I want you to graduate. Let's get it. So what's really going on? Listen, I need buy-in from you because I know you have better things you could be doing. Probably you don't even want to be bothered with this. Maybe your teacher is making you view this or whatever. So I just want to help you see how serious the situation is and why this is applicable to you regardless of how many A's or B's are on your report card. In 2007, a NAEP test, that's a national standardized test, was given to thousands, double digits, more than 20,000 young people. And so 35% of 8th graders and 25% of 12th graders scored at or above proficient. At or above, guys. And then in 2011, there was a drop for 8th graders. So now you're looking at 25% for 8th graders and 25% for 12th graders scored at or above proficient. So what that means is that the majority of the young people in this nation are not writing at grade level. Houston, we have a very serious problem because that problem does not go anywhere when it's time to go to college. That's what's really going on. So I just said that Houston, we have a problem. Well, how do we get to this point? Why are the numbers so low? Because younger children don't read enough. Our society has replaced formal, long writing with just short bursts of writing in the form of text messages and emails. Sometimes teachers give inflated grades. I've seen it to boost confidence, to make parents happy, to make kids feel good about themselves. We have some households, parents are not checking their kids' work for quality. They're just taking it for granted because their kids have just always had A's. We have kids who are approaching the whole work attitude is wrong. Like they just want to get it done versus looking at it in terms of, is this the best I can do? We also have teachers, keeping it real, KIR, who don't know how to write. I've met them. I have seen it, so I know it happens. And then also we have young people who are too dependent on writing crutches. And by writing crutches, using the same crutches that teachers used when they were in elementary school and holding on to those cheats and tricks instead of letting them go as they get older. Okay, so I need to give you a survey. So I need you to pull out a pen, scratch sheet of paper or something like that because this is important for the next activity. I need you to self-assess. I need you to be reflective. I'm going to read these statements. You're going to write down A, if they apply to you, if you agree with the statements. You're going to write down D, if you disagree, meaning this does not apply to you. Agree if it applies to you, disagree if it does not apply to you, and then I'm going to tell you how to figure out your results. So, first, I enjoy writing and it shows in my work. Agree or disagree? I enjoy writing and it shows in my work. Agree or disagree? Next, my teachers constantly give me new writing tips to incorporate. Agree or disagree? My teachers constantly give me new writing tips to incorporate. Agree or disagree? Next, my writing style gets better on every assignment. Agree or disagree? My writing style gets better on every assignment. Agree or disagree? Next, I always try to sound intelligent when I write. Agree or disagree? I always try to sound intelligent when I write. Agree or disagree? Next, I know how to fix every writing error that my teacher highlights. Agree or disagree? I know how to fix every writing error that my teacher highlights. Agree or disagree? Next, my teachers never find more than 3 writing mistakes per page. My teachers never find more than 3 writing mistakes per page. Agree or disagree? Next, my focus is to impress the reader and not just get it done. My focus is to impress the reader and not just get it done. And lastly, I have received compliments about my content and structure on most of my assignments. I have received compliments about my content and structure on most of my assignments. Alrighty. So let's take a look at your results. So if you have 1 to 2 disagrees, then you can just look at this presentation as a way to refine your writing. So you definitely need to be paying attention. I know I'm going to give you some tips that you either have not heard before or you are not incorporating that you need to be incorporating if you're planning on earning A's on all your essays in college. I already know that. If you have 3 disagrees, then you are in instruct mode. So you need to be taking notes on what I say. You need to complete the activity. They're real small, easy ones. And you also need to be referring back to those notes and have them with you in your classes, whether you're in middle school, high school, or already in college. If you have 4 or more disagrees, you need some intense intervention. So you need to be taking notes on this presentation. You need to be completing the activities. Again, they're real small, short ones. You need to be referring back to those notes constantly on every assignment that you do. And then lastly, you need to be working closely with your teachers, maybe even going in for tutoring periodically. If you're talking about going into college and getting A's on those very first papers, that's what you need to do. Thanks. Alrighty, so before we move forward, I'm going to need you to pause this video and I need you to come up with some personal writing goals. So what do you want for you when you walk away from this? If you can come up with 3, that's awesome. If you only have 1, that's cool too. But you need to have some personal writing goals. You need to personalize it for you, or this presentation isn't going to mean anything to you but just a check off of things to do. So set the goals, write them down, 1 to 3, and once you've done that, push play and let's pick back up again. Alrighty, once your goals are done, next I'm going to need you to pause the video again. I need you to set a timer, on your cell phone, on your watch, or if you're in a class, maybe your teacher is going to put out the timer. 10-minute timer. And I want you to write a 2-paragraph response to the following question, because when I work with you through this presentation, it's going to be based on this prompt. And here it goes. Is July 4th or December 25th the best day of the year? I want you to write a 2-paragraph response to this question. Is July 4th or December 25th the best day of the year? Get to it. Woohoo! I am so excited. This is the tips time. So I'm going to take you through and give you a don't do it anymore list. And you are going to need to write these down because at the very end I'm going to have you do something with your paragraphs. So you are going to need this list or you're not going to be able to do what I need you to do at the very end. So number 1, do not say I think this or Darius thinks or Grace thinks or to me or in my opinion or I believe or I know. Strong writers don't do that, especially at the college level, because it is assumed you did it. So you don't need to put yourself in it. So, for example, wrong, I believe that December 25th is the best day of the year. That is so wrong. Take out the I believe and you just say December 25th is the best day of the year. That's crisp, to the point, pulls the reader right into what you have to say. Okay, so my next don't do it anymore is strong writers always write in 3rd person. Very academic, very sterile. So when you're writing at the college level, you never use I, you, your, me, we, my, us, your, our. So it would be wrong to write, if you celebrate Christmas, then you will probably receive presents. It would be right to say people who celebrate Christmas will probably receive presents. Again, we're talking about the difference between writing at the middle and high school level and at the college level. And really, by high school, you should already know that you're only supposed to write in third person. So here's your next. Don't do it anymore. Stay away from this means, this statement means, this quote means, this is trying to say, this essay is about, the point that this quote, essay, or statement is trying to make, the best explanation, it means. Those stall, those are like crutches. Those are like you just taking 20 years to get to the point. Professors hate that. I'm an English teacher. I hate that. It's like, get to the point, kid. Now, you needed to say this quote or this means when you were in elementary and middle school. And that was just to help your little brains get focused. But at this point in the game, at this level, come 9th grade up, you shouldn't need to say that. So here's an example. Wrong. This journal will explain how December 25th is better than July 4th. Kill this whole. This journal will explain. Sweetie, we know it's a journal. And we hope it's going to explain because we assigned it to you. Just jump right into it. December 25th is better than July 4th. Woo! Do not do this anymore. Stop stating the obvious. This is a good question. That depends on the person. That is so stating the obvious. You know what you just said? A bunch of nothing. Don't do that anymore. So here's the right. December 25th is superior to July 4th because the day is celebrated around the world. Take a position. Bam. Start right off aggressively. Or maybe more like assertively, because aggressive is creepy. So assertive. Assert yourself. Quit stalling. Don't state the obvious. That's lame and it's boring and it ticks professors off. Okay, so this don't do it anymore is a toughie. Kids always argue with me on this one. Grrr. So I need you to just trust me on this one. Rule number 5. Don't start a sentence with but, because, then, with, or, without, to, and, what, where, why, how, why, haha. Just testing you. Did, who, that, being, not, by, a verb, or any word that ends in ing. So, for example, here's the wrong. By Christmas, bringing relatives together to celebrate traditions that have been passed down for generations. I sure hope you heard something was wrong with that. Here's the right way. Christmas brings relatives together to celebrate traditions that have been passed down for generations. There are only a few writers, young people, who know how to break this rule and the sentence still be structurally correct. The majority do not. So that's why I say don't do it. I mean, think about it. There are some people who have songs on the radio, but some of the songs stink. So just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. But there are a handful of kids who are just born writers. Like it comes naturally for them where they can break the rule and their sentences are still the bomb. Yes, I said the bomb. I'm old. But in general, no, don't break this rule. Trust me. So this next don't do it anymore is a biggie. This is the gold mine. This is the main one that most of the young people reach out to me and tell me how much this has helped them. Don't use thing, stuff, no, yes, anything, something, nothing, thing. As far as basically, personally, by the way, on top of, on the other hand, let's say. So here's the example. I gave you quite a few of these rules so that you can see in this example. July 4th is basically a special thing for Americans. There is no denying this fact. Yes, some may consider Independence Day to be on the same level as other worldwide holidays. Wow. Look at this. July 4th is a day of remembrance and celebration. That is so much stronger than thing. This cannot be denied. That is so much stronger than there is no denying this fact. You want to stay away from saying no and yes. You don't have to. You have too many other words that you can use in your toolbox, your brain. Patriotic citizens tend to treat Independence Day with the same reverence as any other worldwide holiday. What does it say? On the same level. This isn't an elevator. What do you mean by on the same level? Stop doing that. That is too informal. It's too casual. It's too kickity, hippity hoppity. So stop doing that, guys. Alrighty. The other note I want to say about thing would be this. You want to kill thing from your vocabulary. So any word that has thing, kill it from your vocabulary, and here's why. Anything can mean just that, anything. And by the way, I am talking about your written word. You can use the word thing when you're speaking because it's informal, but when you're writing, you don't use thing. Here's why. Because thing could be just that. So like if somebody asks you, do you love me? And then they say yes, and then you say, well, what do you love about me? And you say everything. Well, everything? Do you love their smile? Of course, Ms. Lambright. Do you love their eyes? Of course, Ms. Lambright. Do you love their personality? Of course, Ms. Lambright. Do you love when their breath stinks? What? Well, you just said you love everything, so that means you love when their breath stinks. Do you also love when they cut the cheese? Cut the cheese, flatulence, brrr, upset stomach. What do you mean? Well, you said you love everything. That's why you don't say thing. You don't use that. Be specific. Much stronger, powerful writer will get you noticed. This is a real easy, don't do it anymore. Write numbers. It takes the right gift from one person to make Christmas a memorable day. It takes the right gift from ONE, one person, to make Christmas a memorable day. So don't be lazy. Spell the numbers out. Here's another really easy, don't do it anymore. Don't repeat yourself or the prompt. Now when you were little, your teachers let you do that, just to fill space and build your confidence. But at this level, don't repeat yourself or the prompt. December 25th is better than July 4th. Hello, that was the prompt. Boring. How about December 25th surpasses July 4th because the day hosts a sentimental holiday that tends to leave lasting memories. Much more powerful. Make sure teacher and make sure professor want to keep reading because it shows that you bring some originality to the table. Another real easy, don't do it anymore. Don't end with words that you cannot use to start a sentence. Wrong. Some people do not think about what the day is for. Right. Some people do not give much thought about the day. See? Just using what's already in your head, drawing from your resources that are in your brain, and just flipping the sentence around makes it sound stronger and is more impressive. This don't do it anymore says, don't argue both sides. Good googly moogly. Wrong. Both days deserve to be recognized for being superb. It drives me crazy when my students say, can I argue both sides because they're both really good? You can if you were expecting to grade a C or lower. Come on, guys. Take a position. So, December 25th and July 4th are important, but December 25th stands out as a day that has more admirers. Pick a position, argue that position, because you only weaken your paper if you jump around. I said it once. I'm going to say it before. Don't do it anymore. Never ask questions when you write. Wrong. How can a person place fireworks over presents? Right. Fireworks are temporary, but presents can last a lifetime. See? So much stronger. So much more impressive. Your next don't do it anymore is to don't leave the reader hanging. Wrong. So now you can see that December 25th is best. No, I can't, sweetie. I hope that's not your last sentence because you did not convince me. Try this. Only December 25th can fill a person's heart with so much peace and goodwill that any other special day pales by comparison. Oh boy, that was strong. Okay, so yes, contractions certainly have a time and place, but when you're writing essays, you do not use contractions in formal writing. So this is just on your research papers and your essays. I gave you an example. Mothers and grandmothers don't get to relax on Christmas. That's wrong. You would say mothers and grandmothers do not get to relax on Christmas. Just wanted to make sure we were clear. Okay, so this don't do it anymore is another biggie. Here we go. Don't write the way that you speak. Come on, guys. I'm informal because I'm speaking to you. You should not be writing the same way that you speak. So here's a wrong. Straight up, December 25th totally rocks because anybody with eyes can see. The right way to say it, the media and retailers go to great lengths to ensure that every man, woman, boy, and girl gets excited about Christmas time. Much more professional, much more academic sounding, but most importantly, much more impressive. Okay, another for real moment. You should not be writing the way that you text. Wrong. What is this? J4 is GR8, but Xmas is better because everyone gets prayers? Really? July 4th is great, but Christmas is better because everyone gets presents. Just be careful when you write. I see lots of kids, young people, and some adults make that mistake because they get careless and they forget that they're not texting. So on the flip side of my don't do it anymore list, I also have a do it all the time list. You hear that? Do it all the time list. So this is what you need to be doing if you're going to be writing at the college level and if you want to be impressive. Do be error free. Spelling, the correct there, and there. Subject verb agreement, she is, they are. Tense consistency, if it's past, keep it in the past. If it's present, keep it in the present. Complete sentences. Do be error free. Be professional and polished. Stay away from sloppy work. You know, too many errors. If you have too many errors, it's time to treat that like a rough draft and start over. And also be the owner. Be original, be the owner. Don't borrow someone else's idea and reword it and claim it as your own. Be the owner. Just a few more items to add to our do it all the time list. Do be compelling, powerful, thought-provoking. I said it again, original, unique, convincing, competitive. Go for it. Make your point. Prove it. Be full of pride. Don't submit it if you're not proud of it. Come on. Produce sentences with a minimum of 7 words in paragraphs that consist of 8 to 10 sentences. I'm death on that rule. I'm strict on it. And I'll tell you more about why later. Okay, so before I go, I want to review the basic sentence patterns. Why am I doing that? Here's why. Some of you are just taking all these words that you have in your head and you're not thinking about, does it fit the pattern? Because if you make sure that you're put the words together and if it fits a pattern, then you probably will minimize the number of errors that you make. So you combine my do-do list with my don't do it anymore list, and then you put it in one of these basic patterns, then you'll be A-okay. And then as you get older, you can extend yourself beyond these patterns. But right now, some of you, the majority of you, like I would say about 70% of you, don't even have the basic sentence patterns down. So when we say vary the sentence, you don't have a clue because you don't know all the patterns. So you do need to memorize these patterns if you haven't already. Number 1, simple sentence, independent clause, college is a different world. Number 2, compound sentence, independent clause, comma, coordinating, conjunction plus independent clause. College is a different world, comma, so it's important to get prepared. Number 3, compound sentence, independent clause, semicolon, independent clause. College is a different world, semicolon. It requires advanced thinking and writing skills. Okay, so let's take a look at our next set of basic sentence patterns. Number 4, compound sentence, independent clause, semicolon, adverbial conjunction, comma, independent clause. College is a different world, semicolon, therefore, comma, students must practice to be ready. Then we have our next complex sentence, dependent clause, comma, independent clause. When students are prepared, comma, they increase their chances at being successful. Can you believe I have some students who will put like, when students are prepared, period. See, there has to be a comma and then they increase their chances at being successful. And then number 6, complex sentence, independent clause plus dependent clause. Professors do not review basic rules because these skills should have been understood in high school. I hope you're getting my hidden messages in these sentence patterns. Okay, so for our last round of basic sentence patterns, we have number 7, a complex sentence, which consists of first part of independent clause, comma, non-essential clause, comma, rest of independent clause. So you have students, comma, who are in high school, comma, need to constantly read and write. The non-essential, if it were removed, would just say students need to constantly read and write. Durr, Ms. Lambright.
Then we have next complex sentence, first part of independent clause plus essential clause plus rest of independent clause. So that would be students who excel in college are focused. Notice the commas have been removed because it is an important part of the sentence. For those of you who are confused about when to put the commas in and when not to. And then 9, complex compound sentence, any pattern with 2 or more independent clauses and a dependent clause. You can really play with these kind of sentences. These are your more advanced sentences. So just one example, one of many. If a student is writing at the college level, comma, every idea is thoughtfully expressed, comma, and his or her written work sounds scholarly. Ooh, Ms. Lambright, all these subliminal messages. We love you. All righty, good deal. So now it's time for the rubber to meet the road. Now it's time to really put in action the let's write right now. So once you're all done, you've gone through all my rules, I want you to go back with a bright highlighter and I want you to mark every single time that you broke one of my rules, either my do-do list or my don't-do list. I want you to highlight. I also want you to go back and see if you can identify your sentence patterns to see if you have any issues there. And then I want you to revise your journal. I want you to continue marking and revising until your journal stops breaking any writing rules. All your sentence patterns are accounted for. And once you've done that and you see it and you're proud of it and you're like, yes, I'm almost ready for college. Or my essays now that I'm in college are only going to get better. Or my boss is going to be so proud of my writing. Then I want you to begin building and incorporating these rules into your everyday writing until it becomes a part of who you are as a writer. Well, guys, I guess it's about that time to let you go. I think I've held you captive long enough. Bless your little hearts. So, listen, I want to leave you with this idea. I have this reputation for making superstars. And so what I do is I take my students and I coach them and I coach them and I coach them and I coach them until they are a superstar writer, until they are the type of writer that where a professor would be impressed by their writing. And I mentioned that to you earlier. But I want to give you a feel for what you can do and what they've been able to do by applying my suggestions and my rules. So a superstar writer can write 3 paragraphs in 10 minutes, 6 paragraphs in 30 minutes, 8 paragraphs in 60 minutes, 10 or more paragraphs in 90 minutes. Why? Because like I said, I coach, I drill the rules that I've shared with you into their minds, and we practice, practice, practice. That's the only way that you're going to be able to become a superstar writer who can pump out this much work, and also it still adheres to my do-do list and my don't-do list and the basic sentence patterns. It just takes practice. So take a look at the next slide, and we'll go from there. So here you have the superstar training method. So what you do is you take all the content that you've already heard, take all those notes, and you apply it to these activities. Respond to journal prompts. You can go on Google. You don't have to wait for your teacher. You can respond to famous quotes. Once again, go on Google. The tougher the quote, the better. Discuss challenging vocabulary words. Break them down, BID. Respond to articles or news stories. Edit your work using writing rules. Go back and see if you can refine it, make it better. You can always do that. I know that for a fact. Read your work aloud before you turn it in. Read it aloud to an audience. Read it aloud in your Nano or your iPod or your Droid and listen to it and hear how it sounds. Does it flow? Is it impressive? Is it convincing? Is it powerful? And if you're in a testing situation, read it aloud in your head in the remaining time. Peer edit. I'm a big fan of peer editing. Because you can look at your own work and sometimes, it belongs to you. It's too personal. But you look at someone else's work and sit down with my lists next to it and it's really easy to spot it. That helps it become a part of who you are. And then lastly, read challenging books. You have got to push yourself when it comes to reading challenging books, higher level books, difficult books. I think those websites that give you guys the summary of the books, oh, you know what I'm talking about. Those summaries, those what I call them cheating websites, I suppose they come in handy, but they are not helping you be a better writer. You've got to challenge yourself by exposing yourself to higher level vocabulary. I'm just telling you what all my students have come back, hundreds of them over the years, to tell me what works. And so I've taken what works, I put in this video, and I'm impressed with you and proud of you already, because you're already halfway there because you made it through. Good luck to you. Please feel free to reach out to me, and I can't wait to hear about all your stories of success, but most importantly about the success that you experience in college. Take care and be a superstar. Bye.